Okay, so for solving equations, the main thing to remember about an equation is that you have to have balance on both sides of the equal sign. Your equal sign is like a fulcrum here. If you think of a teeter-totter, it has to come out balanced or the same on both sides. So you're trying to figure out what value for x will make the left-hand side the same as negative 144. So at every turn, you have to do the same thing to both sides of the equation. You have to keep it fair. So I need this x to be alone on one side. That's what it means to solve. Get your x alone on one side of the equal sign. So first I will add 11 to both sides of the equation, because negative 11 plus 11 cancels out to 0. We call that a zero pair. Okay, now taking negative 144 plus 11, we've got integers that are opposite signs. So we can just subtract 144 minus 11, and we take the sign of the larger. 144 is much larger than the 11, and it's negative. So our answer will be negative. So now we have 7x is left on the left-hand side of the equation, negative 133 on the right. Now, to undo this multiplication of 7 times x, we divide both sides by 7. And so we're left with an x value of negative 19, because negative divided by positive is always negative. Now, we could go back in Desmos and just check to see if that answer is correct. So we'll take 7 times the negative 19 that we think is what x is equal to, minus 11, and there we have it. It is equal to negative 144. So it's nice with solving the equations. You can check and see if you have the answer right before you submit your test. And you should always go back and check your answers if you have time at the end for small mistakes. Now, when we solve quadratic equations, one of the best first things that we can do is to get 0 alone on one side of the equation, which in this case, it's already there. Once you have 0 on one side of the equation, you can try to factor that equation. Or if it doesn't factor nicely, you could use the quadratic formula. You could also put it into your graphing calculator, which we'll do in a bit here. Or if you know about completing the square, you can do that as well. You may have seen that in a prior class, or if you're going on to take pre-algebra, you might see that. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to factor this first. We want to think what times what equals x squared. So first of all, we'll put in x times x. And then we want to think what multiplies to negative 45 that would add to negative 4. So if we consider the factors of 45, 1 times 45, 3 times 15, 5 times 9, the pair that will multiply to negative 45 and add to negative 4 would be a negative 9 and a positive 5. Now we can double check that by multiplying. X times x is x squared, x times 5 is 5x, minus 9x is negative 4x, and then negative 9 times 5 is negative 45. And then we finish this off by setting each factor equal to 0.
So what's the answer then?
So then we add 9 to both sides to get x equals 9, add 5 to both sides, or subtract 5 to get x equals